For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated, more often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the ET Stand Podcast. The Cronulla Sharks win 14 points to 12, but it is not a grand final victory. It is not something to savour. It's not much of anything. I don't know what it was. Here joining me tonight on the ET Stand Podcast, this is the debrief. I've got my good friend and all-American hero, G.I. Joe Franko, with that G.I. Joe t-shirt for the benefit of those on audio. Mate, who's your favourite G.I. Joe, Franko?
Oh, look, I think it's poignant to mention Sergeant Slaughter in these current times, but I think Snake Eyes is everyone's favourite, right?
Well, we can talk about that another time, I think. But yeah, I like Sergeant Slaughter, who's obviously been in the news with Hulk Hogan dying this week, but we're here to talk about the Sharks, so let's get into that. Welcome to the debrief, the ET Spodcast, instant reaction to the Sharks match. The debrief is brought to you by Solve Accounting. If you are in need of any accounting help or tax time help or anything like that, give the guys, Phil and Blocks, a call at Solve Accounting. The link for them is in the bio. I do get involved in the comments tonight. So it is our show, your show, everyone's show. So if you want to have your say, you can join the panel and have your say by clicking on this link. Just do that, and then you'll get to come on the show and you can give us your instant reaction as we go through that. Franko, we'll get through the comments shortly. Give us your first up initial reaction to that Sharks 14-12 win.
Oh, look, it's going to be a constant discussion point throughout, I guess, the week is how many tackles we had in their end zone and really didn't trouble them. It's one of those things that I'm a little bit, as I said, hot off the press. I'm not quite sure what to think of it. I want to be angry. I want to sort of think that we should have done better, especially against, the depleted opposition that we're up against. But look, Souths did turn up to play, and maybe in one of those scenarios, by not putting a score on them, that'll give us a bit more homework to play with for the coming weeks. Because if we'd have put a score on them, maybe that papers over the cracks and we think we're going red hot. Now we can look at that and go, ooh, we had a lot of an opportunity there to do something better, to put our for and against in a healthy position. Souths had put on them in the last few weeks, 50 points, 30 points, 30 points, and now we've just barely scraped through a win with 14 points. So I think it's one of those scenarios where, look, I wanted more from the team, but maybe it's a silver lining moment of that was okay.
They just don't have the attack, Franko. So
we don't.
When the teams aim up against the Sharks and the defense from the opposition is a little bit stronger, and we're going to see it in the playoffs, and we can get past the teams at the bottom of the table, and South turned up in defense tonight. And really, apart from a couple of Kennedy moves, that soft hands, quick Talakai-esque, I guess, tap on for that first try, are really not looking like we've got that much in attack. And maybe the Rabbitohs defense was also good, which stopped the Brayley and the Hines runs that we've seen. I'm just not. I'm not booking my grand final tickets.
Look, the Rabbitohs defense was full of intent, high-spirited, in our face, all those good, positive things, but just the sheer weight of possession and field position, on average, we should be scoring more than what we did tonight. So that's the bullet in the sentence, right? Yes, they did well, but we should have scored more. And it was sort of one of those things where we were easy to defend against, right? We didn't have a lot of shapes. Our passes were predictable and slow. A lot of run out, run up hitting. It was just one of those things that was very frustrating to watch. Very much safety first as well. I don't know if that was something that's been drilled into us, trying to work our way to the finals to make sure very good high completion rates. But it just, again, getting tackled in the final 10-meter zone instead of trying to get a repeat set or anything like that, going for a play to score on the last. So very safety first.
There are a couple of bad fifth tackle options where we got caught and some other stuff. Let's get through these comments. We'll react to each of these. So the Eclectic Skeptic. What a great name. What a great name. We got the 2 points, but only one team was playing to their position on the ladder, and it wasn't us. That's a bit tough on the Sharkies, but maybe that's probably right. Pete Bissett in the comments, up there with one of the worst wins. Attack was slow and predictable. That was not a try at the end. The bunker is terrible. All right, let's just react to that first comment there. Do you think this? I don't remember a worse win than this one, Franko. Can someone put it in the comments for us? Can you give us a win that was worse than that one?
What are we defining as a bad win? Is it a win we shouldn't have won, or is it like we didn't deserve to win? Is that what we're saying is a bad win?
I think we were the better team.
Yeah, we were definitely the better team. So I'm not sure if it was one of our worst wins, but it was a very ugly watch and very frustrating. So I can certainly feel the recency bias there, and maybe jump on that bandwagon for a couple of weeks until I think about it.
Well, we'll let our resident historian Matthew Williams give us a review on a couple of bad Sharks wins that maybe weren't that good of wins. Let's respond to this second part of this comment here. That was not a try at the end. The bunker is terrible. I thought it was a try. I think you'll find the point of the ball was just touching, and the ball just has to touch the line. Franko, are you going to disagree with me?
Can't see the point of the ball. Look, it went up as a try. So given that it was a close call, the odds were against you to overturn it. I feel as though this is how badly beaten we've been as Sharks fans. I feel as though if that was the Sharks doing that, it would have been overturned and as referred as a no try. But look, I kind of agree with you. The arm was wrapped around the ball. It did look as though it landed short, but there was a bit of a sliding motion before the ball popped out. The fact that we won, I don't know if that's making it a little bit better for me, but I'm okay to concede that it was a try. That said,
if we lose the game on that, are you coming into this debrief firing up? That's ridiculous. It wasn't a try.
No, I'm not. And I was just about to say that's not the bit that bugged me. The bit that bugged me was why they had possession in the first place. That almost 40-20 kick that bounced off Kennedy's chest bounced on the touchline before coming up into him. So they shouldn't have had the ball at all. It bounced out. So that's what I'd be blowing up again about more than that try being allowed.
Yeah, that's a good point, Franko. If the South Rabbitohs go to score from there, we're going back to that point. Why didn't they try and challenge that? The Sharks didn't challenge all game, did they?
They didn't challenge all game. I don't.
No. There was another one they could have challenged as well, I thought.
Yeah, there was a couple of moments there. I think we know we're bad at challenging. There was a couple of times where someone would run in hot-headed going, "Oh, challenge, challenge, challenge." And a couple of the boys would go, no, we're not challenging, no. So I think there has been a bit of a discussion about let's just challenge when we're sure we'll get something. Keep it in our back pocket until we either need it or we think we've got a sure bet, which I'm okay with, right? That's sort of something we've been calling out for a while. And if that's how we want to play
Sharks. Be smarter.
That is smarter. Don't just
maybe we'll
throw it out there on a whim.
Maybe we get to keep that challenge for next week, and we have two.
That'd be all right, wouldn't it?
I reckon that would actually be pretty good. All right, let's go through some more of these comments now, gang. Give us some of those love hearts or likes. We never seem to get enough of these. We get lots of people watching and subscribers, but give us a love heart. If you like Franko's shirt, give us a love heart for that. All right. Harley in the comments is pretty pumped up saying we won that game. Great work. Benny Turner says that feels like a loss. We should have won by 40. Certainly winning by 40 points, Benny, would have helped the for and against as we sit. What are we? Something like 48, 55 points or something like that behind the Broncos. Can't see us reeling in that amount of for and against between now and the end of the season. Mazdad in the comments says, "Ugh," and then says, sorry, Belinda Sharp is not up to it. Now, I'm going to give I reckon Belinda, though, after the referee, I thought she was pretty good for the first 60 minutes. And I thought she actually handled the mistake that she made with the fifth tackle where the ball was just ordered to play on.
Is that her mistake, though? I'd be curious as to how that works. I'm pretty sure the bunker gives them a little signal. Yeah, this is the fifth. And I reckon that was a bunker mistake, not a.
I think it was too, but I thought she still handled it pretty well.
Yeah.
And common sense.
What are you going to do, right? So.
Common sense preferred. Do you think because she's female, the players don't arc up at her as much? Or do you think she's a good referee, or you reckon it's coincidence? What do you think?
No, I've seen plenty of players arc up at her.
They didn't tonight.
They didn't tonight. No, look. My only gripe against her is, and it's nothing that you can really do about it, is just trying to keep up with the pace of the game. Sometimes in a fast break situation, the guys are down the other end of the field scoring the try, and she's not able to keep up. That's probably my only gripe, but that happens so rarely throughout the course of a season. So she does all right. I've got no concerns.
What do you think in the comments, gang? Give your comments in on the ref, Belinda Sharp. Is Mazdad right? Sorry, Belinda Sharp is not up to it, or is he a bit tough? Let's see what you guys think. And reminder, you can get involved in the show by clicking on that link. We've got 2.0 in the green room. We're going to give you a couple of minutes 2.0. Let us know when you've watched if you've watched the Fitzgibbon press conference, and we will get your take on that. Let's get going through some of these comments. Shauno, got to take your hat off on another understrength with their backs against the wall. I definitely didn't agree with the shoulder charge, and South try was definitely a knock on before the line. Yeah, the shoulder charge was a bit tough on them, but it was definitely a foul.
It was an absolute shoulder charge.
It was unlucky, but it was a careless tackle, which injured a player and resulted in Toby going off. So he has to be sin bin, doesn't he, Franko?
I think one of my new favorite quotes, which will go down into Lexington of rugby league folklore, is that the inside arm is attempting to wrap around. I don't think that's physically possible, Kevy. I don't think the inside arm can wrap around somehow. So, shoulder charge, my friend.
Kevy.
But yeah, look, it was definitely a shoulder charge. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on what side of the fence you're on, head clashes are now considered dangerous. And it was a head clash as the result of a shoulder charge. So definitely 10 in the bin in this day and age.
I think that's definitely right. And then speaking of Kevy, seeing as we've brought it up, geez, tonight's commentary, they need a third one, don't they? And Kevy, Dan Ganane running and riding South's home. Oh, wasn't good, was it, Franko?
Not a fan, buddy. Not a fan at all.
I could definitely agree on that one.
Yeah.
Here we go. Brad Lewis. Can't wait to listen to Shanaz put his positive spin on that one. Not. Oh, Brad, don't give Sam a hard time. If you want the Real Talk podcast, then that's us. If you want the positive spin, and Sam's absolutely lovely and he's an absolute legend. So come on.
He might have some truth bombs in there. You don't know. We'll see.
You don't know, but you wouldn't know because you're watching us. Harley, Tyler King, and Annie Marie Kiria Rato on debut on the bench tomorrow night. Yeah, that'll be good fun. Here we go. Now, Matthew Williams is responding to Hugh Cox. Oh, here we go. I missed this one from Hugh Cox, who said, bench use and Atkinson use confirms Fitz doesn't have a clue how to use him, or if he does, is making awful choices on purpose. Replace O'Hepper with Atkinson made no sense at all. Look at the run meters. Yeah, I didn't. However, once that was activated, why not use him a bit more, Franko? 10 minutes?
10 minutes wasn't enough in my mind. As soon as he was activated, I would have put him on straight away, maybe given McInnes a bit of a rest. I think that when he did eventually come on, it was a short, as you said, 10-minute stint. And then, yeah, as Hugh Cox mentions, it was replaced by Atkinson. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me at all. Obviously, look, Atkinson got a lot of minutes tonight compared to previous rounds.
Well, how many did he get?
I think he got 20 something runs.
Yeah, he got 20.
20 minutes. So he got
21.
more than what he has. So there was some thinking there, I guess, but Hoepa just looked much better, much more active than Atkinson, and Atkinson really wasn't looking like a utility there. He was playing like a middle, and he just doesn't have the size or physicality to do so. He'd just be getting dropped and wrapped up every time. So it's an odd one. I can see why he was left on the bench as opposed to previous weeks where he's been replaced by Burns, given that Ramian's gone in with a questionable hammy. So, that could be the reason why he was still in the team for tonight. But yeah, as soon as Hoepa was activated,
he was gassed a little bit at the end.
The whole team was gassed by the end, which was quite surprising.
That one where Kennedy was running down the sideline, though, Viala couldn't keep up.
Yeah, well, half the team couldn't keep up. Just before then,
center,
Katoa didn't want to catch the ball and do anything. So
you think Alex Johnson's not backing up for that? Like, come on.
We were stuffed. Good. Yeah, but I think there's also an element of not getting the jump, so he's then got to try and catch up, because he got to Trindle sort of by the end of the play pretty quickly. It was more a case of Will getting on the front foot and Viala not realizing that the play was still alive, is sort of more what I'm thinking happened there. Yeah, it didn't look good, especially with Kennedy trying to find his outside man. Franko. It looked really bad.
You're bloody Sam Shanaziing this.
No, look, you can say that if you want. If that's what it is, then that's what it is. But no, I do think that there was an element of the whole team being gassed, and Viala was definitely gassed. But I'm not excusing him. I'm saying he missed the jump. He should have been more aware and should have tried to keep up.
You think Talakai would have been there?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Yeah, he would have been.
But it would have been different because Talakai would have been probably the one that sets up running outside him. So
he would have set up a little bit more in attack, because we look bloody rubbish in attack. As Brad Lewis points out, we never seem to try anything different in attack. Why at half time can we not sit down and change things up? Okay, Souths are getting in our face early, so let's put in an early kick or do anything. They just look devoid of ideas. They just don't seem to be practicing the attacking moves enough. I watched them training this week. They were practicing those backline movements, sure, but it just didn't seem to have the urgency or anyone getting up and in them. And so when South get it up and in them, they're just not able to act the same way and get those shapes and get that slickness of attack that we saw in the Sean Johnson Moylan days. But maybe that's what you've got to accept with the better defensive backs that we've got. Franko, the attack, where do we go? What happens?
I think we need to sort of either scrap it all and start again, or just admit that we are a team that now goes down the middle. We're very forward focused, especially with Brayley now in his running game. Just keep hammering down the center of the field until we've sucked in the defense and then go wide. I think Ramian is a little bit of an anchor at the moment with some of those plays. He seems
there was
to
one
dive
early
the ball
where
a
he
lot
just
more.
didn't pass the ball, wasn't there?
Yeah.
There was one early where I literally got it in my notes and like Ramian, his winger was there. I'm pretty sure it was Katoa. Was there, just didn't pass.
Yep.
All right, cool.
Yeah, Ramian's a bit of a black hole. His game awareness seems to be a bit shot at the moment. So I'd be looking there. I know that's a bit of a big call considering how much he's been a key component of our team for so long. And
they're not going to dump Rami into reserve grade for Talakai and KL.
No, I don't think they will. But I think what's telling is Ramian's still getting over 100 meters a game, but his meterage is less impactful. And I think that was always something that was a big draw card for him, right? Whether that's, I saw one of the comments there, whether that's just because he's playing lighter at the moment, or not, I'm not sure, but he's certainly not dominating the ruck as much as he used to.
Hugh Cox in the comments saying, not angry, just facing reality. This team won't make waves against decent sides. That wasn't even an Aboritan performance? What's an Aboritan?
He's trying to say, now that you've said that word out loud, I can't get it out of my head. Aberration? That's a typical 2025 performance. Bad attack, bad decisions, terrible bench. That's probably true. All right. Well, look, we've got 2.0 in the green room. 2.0, give us a thumbs up if you're good to come in. If you'd like to get involved in the show, do click on the link, which is up there at the top of the comments. I'll put it on screen again. It's halfway through there as we bring in our buddy 2.0. I'm going to have to edit this. Thank you, Mike Knight.
Going to have to edit the stage here because I haven't fixed up the... whoops, cancel. 2.0, can you hear us?
All loud and clear, my sir.
Good to hear. How are you, buddy? What do you think of that?
Yeah, we win. We move on. Get out. To say, I think there's been worse teams in the South that have won games before. So I think I just watched the presser, and Fitzy wasn't happy with the attack, especially the good ball attack. We just tried to rush it. But he said what he was happy with was the way we kept him at bay for long periods with field position, and I didn't give him much of a sniff until then. But yeah, he's not happy with it. We need to execute better. That's pretty much the theme of the press conference. Cam drilled it into him after the game too in the huddle. So we need to be better, but we'll take the win. So it's not much to go off from them. But yeah, it's good to see he's not saying it was a solid game and thought it was really up for a change, it's a nice change.
What was his demeanor like? And Franko, I can't seem to fix the layout, so if you could have a crack at doing that whilst with 2.0 and I chat. What was his demeanor like? Was he negative? What was he?
He wasn't negative. He looked a little bit frustrated, but he also gave South plenty of plaudits. Their goal line defense was great. I thought that try saver on Nicho from the English bloke Lewis Dodd. I saw it in the Discord saying Nicho should have scored and blah blah blah, but that's why they call it try savers. It was a great effort from Lewis Dodd to hold him up. Other times in the last month, Nicho slid over there. So it's kind of hard for me to analyze because it's like, okay, we won the game. Yeah, we should have put 40 on them, but we didn't. But we still won the game. We move on to next week. Let's get our execution right. And I think a lot of people just don't understand the toll the last 2 weeks. We played physical teams in the Dolphins and the Roosters. And you come up against a really desperate team who's now sitting bottom of the ladder without a majority of their stars. Look what we did. I said it in the Discord. Look at what we did in 2014 without all our guys because of Asada. Going losing 20-odd nil at halftime, and we come back and smack the Roosters. It happens in football. You just come up against desperate teams, and desperate teams will give you a go if they're up for it for the night. And I think Jai Gray is one of the. I'd put my hands up to sign him tomorrow if we had the cap space. He was their best player by a mile. He saved a few tries.
He did play well.
He set up tries. Yeah. And
Jack White certainly wasn't their best player, though, was he? He was pretty ordinary.
No, but I think he just tries too hard when he has to be the man. He tries too hard. We saw it plenty of times in Canberra as well. When he has to be the man, it just doesn't suit him. If he's got a suitable half next to him, like a Cody Walker or a Aiden Caesar, I think it was down in Canberra, that's when the pressure's off him. But no, I think Jai Gray, he's got a big future. I don't know if it's going to be at South, but wherever he goes, he's going to be a great player.
2.0, we'll get you to react to this one. Cecil in the comments saying, do you think we missed Talakai and most definitely Nicola? What'd you make of the slightly understrength Sharks? The Sharkies aren't that good when we're missing a couple of guys, and maybe the attack was stifled without, we're also missing Kaeliro. That's a couple of key backline components and attacking weapons that Trindle and Irons typically throw to.
I reckon we missed Nicola more. I can't say more, but when Nicho and Trindle and Kennedy start going sideways, Nicho is the one that straightens them up. Talakai is more of a get out of jail. Like if we're deep in our own half, he'll come up with a big run, or he'll throw a little pass that'll get on the outside. But Nicho is the one that straightens Nicho up a lot more. So yeah, he'll be back next week. Talakai will be hopefully back. I think he was missing with illness, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Walk it off, mate. Play that game for us.
Yeah, Nicho and Talakai will be back. He might have played if it was a
Toby
finals match. Toby will definitely not be match.
Yeah, he was out cold. So, and there's a slight chance from the other week. I was talking to a mate who's in with the team. Slight chance that I'm hearing that Tom might be back next week.
Well, I talked to Tommy Hazelton down at the Sharks store on Thursday night, and he's not. He thinks maybe next week, maybe the week after.
Cowboys.
So we'll see how that goes.
Or the Dragons, even better.
We'll see how we go. 2.0. Who was your 3-2-1s?
One, I'm going to give it to Adam. I think his second stint was pretty much what won us the game. He got over the advantage line. I think he went for about a 25-meter run with 3 guys on his back, which is pretty good. 2, I'm going to give it to Ronnie. I think he was back to form tonight, barking in everyone's faces early on, and he got his first try since he was last up there against the Roosters. And despite the last-minute kerfuffle, I'll give 3 points to Kennedy. I think he was the best player on the field tonight by a long way. Chasing everything, made that great tackle on Alex Johnson when he was in the clear. Got himself a try.
He did make a great tackle on Alex Johnson in the clear. I've been critical of his defense one-on-one. He actually got one. That was a pretty important moment for us.
No, it was a very important moment. Another dry grey line break assist, and right around the tackles. That's what fullbacks are supposed to do, round the legs. But it seems when they're a bit bigger, he tries to go up top. If it's like a second row or something, just go around the legs every time, because it at least slows them down. So yeah, I'll give WK for my 3 points. And by all accounts, they're hearing that the deal is almost signed with William for next year as well. So we'll see how that goes.
We will indeed. All right, mate. Well, thanks for jumping in. As always, you're such a legend for jumping in here, and your commentaries are so good. So we'll thanks for that take, and we'll good work at trivia too. 2.0 almost. Well, he did take up the trivia. No, you didn't. You lost.
No, I lost. You can't beat a historian, mate. You can't beat a historian. Let's just say that.
Historian was very good. All right, 2.0, you legend. Well, we'll see you next week, no doubt. And
no worries.
Take it easy. See you, mate. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. All right, that was the great 2.0, Williams 2.0, regular dial in on the ET stand. Just got some learned opinions there. Now, I was going to ask him what you thought of the Sharks' decision-making and taking the 2 points. So I'm not going to get Franko's response to that straight away, because I'm going to get your comments in. What did you think of the Sharks taking the 2, not taking the 2 at the times where they did it? And we will discuss that in turn very, very soon. All right, let's go through some of these comments. Hosea in the comments is asking us who won. I was too busy crying over our loss to the Titans. That Warriors loss certainly is going to make a big, put a big dent. We can maybe catch them, Franko. That's a pretty bad thing for them, you'd have to think.
Big call, but they are down on troops themselves, and sort of thought that damage was going to come eventually. Did not think it was going to be against the Titans, though.
Yeah, well, the Titans, they certainly need it. And then Matty Williams is in the comments, and he's given us the answer. The win over Souths in 2006. There was Luke Douglas's debut against a diabolical South team. Was our worst win, 26 points to 24 from memory. I think that's definitely the case. Rob V, I can see, is in the green room. Rob, give us a thumbs up. We'll give you 2-minute warning. We're going to get you in shortly. We'll just talk to some more of these comments. Will the Younger, the Dragons game this year was a rough one too. Yeah, that was a bit rough this year, wasn't it, Franko?
Yeah. Like I said, recency bias certainly makes this game feel pretty bad, but I reckon if we put our heads together, we can think of some shockers.
I think we can think of some shockers too. Mike Knight, Tuna Bumblebee. Franko was almost right in the preview about losing the easy one. Franko is almost frequently right, guys. Haven't you worked that out yet? That's why he's on a podcast. Sonia quickly in the comments. Still love the boys. However, I washed my hair at a halftime. I thought I'd match the Sharks' interest in winning. Congrats on 2 points, Sharks. A win is a win. A win is a win, though, isn't it, Franko? So
yep.
James Hooper, who we also sometimes criticise, asked a question to Blake Brayley in the interview post-match, said, would you rather win ugly or lose pretty? And I'm sitting there going, that's a stupid question because you would always rather win ugly. Who wants to lose pretty?
Oh gosh, was Hooper on the
Hooper
panel or
was one of
something?
the-
Was he?
Jake backs that up with that very ugly win, but who cares? Chief Brody, not much doing to be honest, but take the points and move on. A few weeks back, post the Dolphins win, I told you it was much bolder in that we got there just in the lift down at Woolooware Bay. You did tell me that. There we go. I'm going to miss living down at Woolooware Bay. All right, let's get Rob V in as well. Here he is, and I've worked out the look and feel. Huzzah, Rob. Good to see you, mate.
You chaps. Yes,
2
so
points for
it is
this-
a bit of a huzzah. I'll give us the thing that we won.
But
We won. We played poorly. You can't have that many tackles in the red zone. Commercial name.
Rob,
red
tonight's
zone.
winner was Westpac.
Yes.
They were the winners tonight with the Westpac red zone, weren't
Yeah,
they?
I
Anyway,
don't
go
even
on.
know who it is, but if it's Westpac, then it's Westpac.
It's Westpac
Okay,
red zone.
Fine.
Very Americanized. You're right there, Rob. The red zone.
Yeah, rubbish. I tells you. I agree with Williams 2.0. Let's buy Jai Gray. Yes, I gave Kennedy points today. We'll talk later, but who was the better fullback today?
Jai Gray
Franko,
was
you
the
put in
better.
your face.
Yeah, you're right. I think
Jai was
that's-
pretty impressive.
he's pretty good. Does Jai Gray make that tackle on Alex Johnson though?
Yep.
Yeah, probably does.
Well,
Whether or not he makes the tackle or at least slows him up, debatable.
he might not run into the ball as it's going out. And whilst Franko did say it did go out and then bounce back into him, he was pretty dumb for having it bounce back into him. Rob, what were your other key moments of the match that you think we might not have touched on so far?
Half-time, I didn't wash my hair, but I did rearrange my sock drawer because I was a little bit upset with that half-time try with 5 seconds to go. That was pretty.
Oh, God.
But again, look, Williams 2.0 and I are in alignment. Talakai was missed. It shows what a big part he is of this team. I don't think we made, whilst we were in the red zone a lot, I don't think we made the inroads into them as we would normally make with him making that second run like he always does. In the other key point for me is the lack of backing up. The last 3 weeks we have been backing up the runner, whether it be Brayley, whether it be Nicho, whether it be who it is. But this week, everyone's like running on their own again. That first half.
Chris Whaler was gassed. Rob, what did you make of that? I just brought it up with Franko.
I was disgusted with what I was. Come on. You didn't do anywhere near the amount of runs, those hard runs that the other
He
three.
didn't do anything.
Yeah, no, that was poor. Perhaps, hopefully it comes out that he was injured and broke a rib, because that's pretty much the only excuse I can think of.
I don't know. I don't know if that's quite true. He's a second game debutant. He getting used to first grade. There's a lot. We all know how much faster first grade is. He's got a lot of fitness to catch up on.
Okay, Franko, that thought did cross my mind, but I've decided to be a little bit harsher than that. I think if you've made it to first grade,
this is the hard podcast, Rob. This is the real talk
made it
podcast.
to first grade, your job is to back up those runs. Then don't jog, run.
He's got to be running
taking
there.
the deep ones after the game. So that drove me a bit spare.
All right. Well, look, one thing we haven't talked about much on the show so far is the Prince, Nicho. What did you make of his game tonight, Rob?
Well, no, I thought he played okay, to be perfectly honest. His defense was great. He ran the ball. He ran the ball at the right times. Were there people with him? So that leads me to my next point. I don't think we back up like we have the last 3 weeks. I think for some reason, we expected Blake to do everything today. It was all the week. Oh, he's the best game player in the game. Blah, 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 blah.
Oh, God, that's just agent speak.
I know it's agent speak, but and the media are hooking onto that. but I'm not just talking about following Blake. We didn't follow anybody today. And I think that makes a big difference. If you're in the 20 for that many tackles and someone is like got their hands free, like Nicho turned around a few times, Blake turned around a few times, there's no one there. AFB turned around a few times, no one there. Oh, I think we have to go back to
that.
that.
Normally there are Nickera and Talakai, and those guys are, well, I guess Kennedy's often a support player. So we are missing a couple of key guys. You'd have to say, well, Franko?
I was just going to say, you are right, Rob, that the last few weeks we've been pretty good on following up the ball carrier, but before that we've been abysmal. It's sort of a new, it's a new skill, we'll say, and with anything new like that, before it gets rote into memory, you can have relapses, and we can either put this down to a bit of a relapse where we kind of forgot about it, or you could also say that the amount of press that Brayley got over this past week has been off the charts. And
Crazy.
So to think that the opposition team wouldn't just hone in on that and really do their homework on what's happening in and around the rucks and what Brayley's patterns are, it's one of those things where you've got to lift because you're now the hunted. So
I've just seen this comment come in, fellas, and I'll get Rob to respond to this. Benny Turner says, have we lost when Franko is on the debrief? Now, Rob, you're a regular watcher of this show. Does Franko normally do winning debriefs? Is that what happens?
I've seen Franko with a face like he's just sucked a lemon. So, so I am certain he has been on a debrief when.
Well, he was
when
obviously on
lost.
the Panthers one last season.
Oh, what about the Panthers one this season?
I was on every debrief last season, so there was definitely some losses there. This year I have missed a couple. I'm sure I've been on a few losses, but if not, I'm happy to put my hat in the ring and just say I'll only come to the wins.
Or maybe we could just create an AI one where you can't turn up Franko. You could just have an AI Franko.
Yeah.
Or maybe this is AI Franko, Rob. How do you know?
I don't know. Well, actually, I do know. I'm pretty good at spotting him so far.
So far.
Except
all right, Rob, give us your three. Give us your 3, 2, 1. Come on.
Real.
Heedley is very real. He's an American hero tonight. He's G.I. Joe. All right, Rob, give us your 3, 2, 1s, mate.
3, 2, 1s. AFB gets my 3, even with something ankle. Continue to bust the line. Continue to push people forward. Post contact meters. Couple of times pop the ball, had the ball ready, and just his face was like, where are you? Where are you? I'm ready to pass to you. Where are you? I big upped Gray, but I'm giving Kennedy 2. Try saving tackle, caught every ball. One of the best breaks of the game from Cronulla's perspective was him. Not finished off. And then again, he was there for the second break of the game, not finished off, but that's not his fault. He did lots of good work. Yep. And Ronnie gets mine, even though he almost didn't put that ball down when the try he scored.
Yep.
If someone had bumped him again, he might not have scored that try. He got over there, he's sitting on his ass with a ball in his hand. And I better pop it down because the first time he didn't. I think we saw that. Did we see that in the ladies New South Wales Queensland State of Origin?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was like, put the ball down. I had a little bit of a high voice when I was screeching at the television.
Yeah, if we're screaming about put the ball down, you've just triggered me a little bit there, Rob. Absolutely inconsequential, but after the Rabbitohs' second try where the ball popped out and rolled forward, and Ramian is screaming at the ref going, oh, that was a knock on. That was a knock on. I don't care if it was a knock on. Jump on the ball, ground it, make sure it's out of play before the Rabbitohs guy got it. What if they go to the camera and find out something happened and anything? And it's like, just put the ball down.
Ramian. That's Ramian.
How old were you when you were told play to the whistle?
Oh, it's the first thing you hear, right?
I think it is the first thing
when you actually started listening to that coach and actually did it. It's still sub two digits,
I'm
right?
still not listening, I think.
Rob, you have no idea how often I tell Franko and the rest of these bloody paloozas about stuff they need to do on the podcast. Never listen. So,
Yeah.
you know.
So you're the coach. All right.
Well, he
You've got
thinks
too much
he is,
there to be a
Rob.
coach.
He
Sorry,
thinks he
Boldo.
is.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I'm not the coach. Maybe I'm the captain, but I'm not as effective as Captain Cam. Let's just put it that way. So, all right, Rob. Well, thanks for coming in, mate. Good to see you as always. Sharkies win.
Bye, all.
We'll see you again later in the season. We're sure.
Up.
So have a good weekend, mate. See you, buddy. All right, that was Rob Valensky dialing in. All right, we'll get to the 2 points, Franko, in a little bit. Let's just keep going through some of these comments here. Chris Kelly calling out that it was poo. Scott Brahini says Ramian needs to add 5 kilos of muscle this off season. He used to be hard to handle, but now he just gets manhandled. He does look smaller, doesn't he, Franko?
Yeah, I think it was reported at the beginning of the season that he'd fitted up a bit, lost a bit of bulk in replace of muscle. Whether or not that's the right call, I think has always been the debate for many hard hitters. So yeah, I don't know. One of those things that no, I can't even say that. He's had a pretty bad season. So yeah, let's go with that. Let's put some more bulk on.
He's had a bad season, Ramian.
He might have had a couple of good moments, but yeah, he hasn't had a great season.
No, he hasn't. All right. Stuart Campbell calls out that the Sharks would probably lose to any other team. The Eels and Titans played well this weekend. They did. That's definitely true. We'll come back to Mike Knight's question to you later. Matt Axia asks us, did the Bunnies have something like 5 tackles out on 20 and score twice? Yes, they did, Matt. They basically scored. They scored every time they got there. They basically went and scored. Yeah, pretty much they did, didn't they? Yeah. Goodness me. Chris Kelly in the comments says that it was her mistake with the referee.
Okay.
And says that it was also not a try. Was this the game all season with the most forward passes from Mike Knight? Well,
there were a few that were missed as well, Mike Knight. Yeah. There were a few that were missed. So it was certainly plenty in the game. Whether that was a byproduct of fatigue or not, I'm not sure, but there were lots.
Yeah, that's true. The 6 again off the head that led up to their try, that was a mistake.
That was a mistake.
That was a mistake.
That was a mistake.
Yeah, that was a bit tough on the Sharks.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there was no stoppage of play there, so we couldn't captain's challenge that either. So that was just true. One that we had to suck it and lump it.
That's true. Chris Kelly also calling out that Franko's favourite commentators. Yeah, we touched on that. All right, let's just keep going through. Yeah, Matt calling out the halves are atrocious tonight. Could be Trindle's worst game in first grade. Let's talk about Braden Trindle. Look, he seems to be kicking okay, but he just doesn't seem to have that creative spark that we saw against the Cowboys. Franko, what's your take on that?
Oh, yeah, I think. Look, he hasn't had that impact for a while now. That's not something new. Started the season off pretty well, but I think there is maybe an element getting in players' heads with the whole dominant half discussion and who it should be and what role you should play and who should get the ball when and what field position. I think that could maybe be getting in their heads. Now, I'm certainly putting words in people's mouths by saying that because there's absolutely no justification for that comment, but it just doesn't make sense that he sort of seems to have lost the plot a little bit. I think he's still shown some good skills and some good touches, but yeah, his decision making seems a little bit off at the moment, and that's probably what's impacted him more than anything.
I think that's right. All right, we've got another person joining us live. Let's bring him in. We've got Blake Williams, brother Williams. What? Firstly, can you just stand up and show us this outfit that you're wearing here?
It's Star Tours. A good old classic ride at Disneyland.
Star Tours at Disneyland. How about that? How good? Blakey, what'd you make of the match tonight, buddy? What was your key moments, you think, or instant reaction?
I don't know if I've been more pissed off at any win ever. It was painful.
Well, SJD in the comments calling out that William should do a worst reffing ever episode. This game will be impossible to beat.
He should.
And
worst reffing
in terms
and
of the bad
commentary.
Sharks. Oh, worse reffing, worse commentary. I think we've got worse reffing stuff. Blake, when you look at that Sharks performance, where's your biggest area of concern?
Clearly that we either choose attack all down the middle or attack all on the sides, nothing else. We don't change it up. We don't try anything different. We just stick to one and then go at it until we try and score or do nothing. It's the attacks, I think, our biggest issue. We just can't play, I suppose. We find a part where we know they've got a good defense and we try something else. We'll just keep hitting that spot and hope for the best.
Our buddy Hugh in the comments is saying 21 minutes for 4 hit-ups, 21 meters. Terrible from Daniel Atkinson. Blake, have you had enough of Daniel Atkinson on the bench now? Where do we go from here?
Yes, we are clearly a team that does not need a utility, I suppose you could say. Like, of course, it's great for that one game that he actually was usable, but we need a full forward bench. It's clear the last 2 games that we've had 4 forward benches has done a lot better, considering we put, 20 points on the Dolphins, who were scoring 40-odd points every game prior to that. And then we gave the Roosters a good hiding last week. So we need to get more forwards out there so we don't get tired. Because you could see at the end of the game, the Bunnies were running in. If the game was 5 minutes longer.
I just want to say on Hugh's stats there, what's a little bit more damning than that is that he was on the field for twice as long as Hohepa, and his stats were basically half as good. The other one, which I guess just goes to show, the other one just goes to show what we get out of having 4 big boppers on the bench. Jesse Colquhoun was on the field for about the same length of time as Atkinson, and he had 9 runs for 72 meters. So yes, I know there's circumstance of when you've got the ball, when you're in defense, what sort of side of the field you're on while you're on your minutes, but we had so much possession in that game. I think that's something we can rule out in this scenario, and Atkinson should have done a lot more with what he had.
That's true. Blake, give us your 3, 2, 1.
Oh, I'd have to say 1 probably to BHU. He actually held the ball this game, so
he did.
He had a good game.
He deserves a point. Normally he's good.
He just gets a point for not dropping the ball.
Yeah. I was going to say, normally he's good for 5 meters from either our try line or their try line to drop the ball cold, and then which either leads to, I suppose, no points or points for the opposition. Oh, I'd probably have to say 2 to maybe Brayley or Hines, because as much as they didn't do as good as they did last week or the week before, Hines at least got close to 2 tries on the field. He was running it. He just got very unlucky with that first disallow that he got rolled over at the very last second. And I think it was, they would have obviously scored better if the team provided support, which was clearly lacking. And then, 3 would definitely have to be to Kennedy, because he actually did running, which was good, and he actually saved a try. So
you'd have to think Kennedy gets the 3 points in Daly M tonight. Surely he can't make a comeback with Metcalf out for the season now. Can you just imagine if Kennedy made a comeback now and won Daly M of the year? Daly M.
Well, they're saying Teddy's going to win it again. Teddy hasn't, look at what Teddy did last week, and I'm sure he got the 3 points last week for some unknown
Teddy's
reason.
a good player.
He's had a good season.
Teddy should be in the Origin ahead of Dylan Edwards is one of my current big takes. Now, Blake, you're going to give us the lead in to this question, because Franko and I are about to have it out again about one of our most commonly discussed subjects, of which we frequently disagree. What was
Yeah.
your take on the Sharks' decision making on the 2 points this evening when they did and they didn't take it? And you are the lead in so that Franko and I can argue in the next segment.
Yep, I actually have something good about this. What was it when I think it was a minute before White was going to come back on the field and we got that penalty right in front, which then we bombed a tackle later with a drip knock
I
on.
thought it was a bit to the side, that one.
It was pretty much right in front. I was off the goal line dropout, so it was right in front. 10 meters out, right in front. Why didn't we take the 2?
Well, we should. Oh, we won the match tonight because we took the 2, Franko, at the start of the match.
No.
We won by 2 points. So you could possibly say that wasn't the case. Blake,
We
you can
only won by
referee.
2 because we had a better kicker.
Well, and the funny thing is, right, is last week. I'll say, and then Franko, you can have a long segment and respond. But I just want to say this bit, which was last week. Franko got me with the classic. Yeah, but we took the 2 points and then we kicked off to us and then we dropped it and they scored. I'm like, yeah, well, okay. So this week we took the 2 points and then they got the ball and then they immediately dropped it. So just don't drop the ball and be hopeless, guys. And so that actually takes. But I actually think, given the small scoreline that was and the defense orientated nature of the match, at 2-2, I would have taken the 4-2. I thought the one a little bit later where that you're referring to, Blake, I thought that was wider than actually it was. So I can actually rationale them not taking.
I'm pretty sure it was off the goal line dropout because Jai Gray touched it before the 10-meter mark.
I might be thinking of a different one. Yeah, the Jai Gray one, that was against 12. Yeah, look. All right, Franko, give us your response. I'll give you a free hit. I'll even mute myself. Ready?
No need to mute yourself, buddy. I think one of the ones that just calls you out as not knowing anything is saying we won because we took the 2 points. They missed their conversion, and so there we go. That was the 2 points. But yeah, look, I think my gripe or complaint is the time. It was in the first 10 minutes. We were on the attack, as I guess is now in hindsight. We were very difficult to get over the line.
Trying to save ourselves, Franko, and you're saying don't take the 2 passer. I'm not allowed to talk.
Yeah, but the idea is even if you don't score, you want to tie them down.
They're rugby league players. They're fit.
They're fit, and yet at the end of that game, everyone was buggered on both sides of the field. So look, and I know that we absolutely ran them ragged, and they had a man down, and in that scenario, we still weren't able to tie them out. So I acknowledge your comment, but in that time of the game against that squad, yes, hindsight is 20/20, but we should have put a score on them, and we should have had the confidence at that stage of the game to put a score on them. We didn't know that this was going to be a dour affair. We didn't know that we were going to struggle to get over the line. This was a game with them having heaps of troops down. They're at the bottom of the table. We should have gone into that confident that we were going to win and taken it to them. Taking the 2 was very negative play. Sorry, that's it in a nutshell. Should have tried. And then if at a later stage it's like, yeah, okay, well, geez, they're defending well, we can't get over the line, then take the 2 at the next opportunity.
Yeah, look, we're just never going to agree on that. And it's a shame that Maddie's not here on the show, given that it's taking the 1.8 statistically, not taking the 2 means that it's not that simple. That is true. I reckon the one later, Maddie, when it was on the sideline where I was thinking, oh, you could have taken it. Blake, why don't you give us referee this one for us and give us your final say on taking the 2?
Yes, I suppose the count went our way. I've never been a fan, I suppose, of Sharp. I have mates that I've spoken to that, support the Tigers, Newey and all that. And whenever they get Sharp as their ref, it's the same thing. I think she's the most captain's challenge and had her ruling overturned. I'd have need to get some stats into that, but I remember there was one game that she called 4 times, and I think she had 4 different things overturned due to her what she said to them what happened. And I think I've never seen that with any other ref.
I can't believe, Blake, that you've just come out on a podcast and said that women can't ref rugby league matches. That is.
I
just
did
such
not say that. Thank you very much. Don't throw me under the bus, Boldo.
Good. All right, legend. No, you definitely didn't say that. I'm just teasing you. Thanks for coming on tonight, buddy. It was good to see you. We'll see you at the next home match in the ET stand. That's for sure.
Definitely. See you next Sunday.
All right. See you, buddy. All right. That was Blake Williams, family member of the great Matt Williams, who is in the comments going absolute berserk here. Third go at getting that there successfully. Yeah, Matty. We do miss you. I want you to just dial in now, Matty, and give me a hard time about the two. There was also the ruck penalty that someone called out here. Where's that comment up here? Oh, I can't find it. Actually, maybe there were a lot of mistakes there, Franko.
There were a fair few. And the touchies came in a fair bit as well, which was interesting. So yeah, but you know what? We came out on the good side of the penalty count. We got the rub of the green, if you want to call it that. So all the complaining, it really only helped us out. Obviously, bouncing the ball off our head and bouncing the ball off the touchline doesn't count, but we should have been able to defend both those scenarios.
That's true. SJD's girlfriend says the game is so corrupted, no point to watch it. I don't know, SJD's girlfriend, if it is corrupted. But imagine if it came out, if it was corrupted. Can you imagine, Franko, how huge that would be if it came out after 40 years that the NRL's been corrupted this whole time and the Sharks were rigged, the Cowboys was rigged, South was rigged.
Off the back of Hollywood Hulk Hogan passing and the legitimate sporting event known as WWE, we then find out that something like the NRL is rigged. Oh, gosh.
Can you just imagine? Now, speaking of Hulk Hogan, I'm going to reveal the Tears theme on Tuesday night is Hulk Hogan themed Shark player Tears this week, Franko, or this month. Doing Hulk Hogan themed Tears. All right. Mike Knight in the comments is saying, I thought we would have scored, but in hindsight, taking the 2 was right. That's right, Mike Knight. And then asked, will we get KL back for the finals? Geez, we need KL back for the finals, don't we, Franko?
Yeah. Back when his injury occurred, the rumor was, or the prognosis was, that he should be back a week or 2 before the finals. So yes is the answer. Whether or not he's fit and ready to go or straight in is the next question. But yes, he should be ready.
KL Hero, Britton Nicker are back. Toby will have had his week off with the HIAs. Talakai will be back. Sharks full strength.
Atkinson at 14.
Atkinson. No, I don't think Atkinson, once we're full strength, they're not going to be picking Atkinson, will they?
They shouldn't, but we'll see.
All right, here we go. Stuart Campbell's asking, why didn't we try anything other than 2 plays? No creative. They were rushing us and we never get grubbered through the line or chipped over the top to make them stay on the line. There's not much creativity with our kicks, is there, Franko?
Yeah, I kind of mentioned it earlier, Stuart. Very much a safety first mentality and trying to lock the opposition down in their corners, make sure that they don't get 7 tackles, make sure that they don't come against a staggered defensive line. So yeah, our grubbers are minimal. We did get one little attempt from Brayley that ricocheted poorly. But ultimately, yeah, we don't do that too often. I think that's a conscious decision and has been sort of since round 1. That said, you're right. In this game, they were clearly rushing off their line. They got pinged for being offside countless times. So I probably should have tried to keep them honest and grubber in behind them so that they think twice before rushing off their line. And yeah, we don't really have many plays to call on. So it's a bugbear of mine as well.
Stuart Campbell's asking us about the Achilles issue for AFP in their press conference. He's looked a little busted the last couple of weeks, Franko. The bye week for him and maybe if we can secure our position in the top 8, giving him a rest. How do we get AFB right?
Oh, I think he's a bit of a warrior. It can't be that bad if they put him out there to have that second stint. So, look, I think it's something we monitor and trust him, come a day or two before game day. If he says he's right to go, he's right to go.
I think that's probably right. All right. Give us your 3, 2, 1s, buddy.
Oh, look, I've been bouncing around a couple of players. I think my one is going to go to Teague, actually. Thought he did pretty well. There was a lot of good hustle from him. Good defense. One of those players that wasn't outstanding, didn't really do anything highlight worthy, but yeah, I think he did pretty good. So giving Teague 1. 2 points is AFB. Yeah, that second stint was pretty mammoth. I don't think it did anything to really cement the dominance, but it certainly got us our territory field position back on track, because while he was off, we started to lose that a little bit. So good to get him back on and sort of take control. And then, yeah, Kennedy gets my 3 points. He had a pretty good game. He's popping up everywhere. Again, such a dour game. It's funny to sort of have to iterate that. Look, there wasn't a lot of highlights from anyone, but this is sort of the way I think it fell. A little bit of an honourable mention for me for Sione Katoa. I thought he was pretty good there in my mind.
All right. Do you want to give me the Franko question?
Oh, what do you rate this game out of 10, sir?
1.5. Sucked.
Yeah.
It was one of the bad ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Goodness me. Yeah. And it was not a particularly fun match to watch. And I'll echo Stuart Campbell's 3, 2, 1s. 3 for Kennedy, 2 for Ronity, 1 for AFB. I'll back you up there. I think here's my take on that as well, Franko. All right. Anything we missed?
There were a couple of comments there I enjoyed that you may
There were
have.
a lot of comments tonight. Thanks everyone for getting involved in the comments.
Yeah.
Anything you want to call out specifically?
I think this one here from Scott was a good one. We could definitely see a difference in the attitude and intensity in the Dolphins and Roosters games, but not tonight. Crazy how week to week can be so different, which is a good shout out, because we sort of talk about it. Unless you sort of got your systems drilled into you, you can't be up 100% of the season. So we were up for those 2 big games, and now this was a bit of a quiet one. That said, we are at the back end of the season. We've just come off a bye 2 weeks ago, so we probably should have had the energy and intensity to keep that up. And then on fire is Scott with this comment here saying Tyrone Munro gets all his 6 points tonight. Which I thought was pretty.
That
pretty
was
excellent.
pretty funny. All right.
Yeah.
The Sharks go welcome the North Queensland Cowboys to Shark Park at 4 p.m. on Sunday, the 3rd of August, as our next match. Then we've got Dragons, Titans, the Knights, and the Bulldogs to round the season out. It's an easy draw for us. We'll go through the future, I think, on the Tuesday night show at 8:30 p.m. Thank you to everyone for watching the show for this long. And thank you to and shout out to our sponsors, Solve Accounting, the sponsors of the Debrief, for all of your accounting needs. The Sharkies, 14-12 points winners over the South Sydney Rabbitohs, putting them into last place, putting the Sharks into 7th and keeping those finals chances alive. I want to say thank you to Franko, my American hero, for joining us on the Debrief. I'm David Boldo. We'll see you guys on Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Up Cronulla.
For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite-level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated, more often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the E.T. Stand Podcast.